I gotta make sure everybody have my water. You know what I'm saying?
You get in the water when we literally just in 10 seconds in the live?
No, I'm water right here, man. Shoot, I got water right here, right
Okay,
at my table,
okay,
at the table.
all right. Welcome everyone to Rose's Hot Takes. It's me, your true semi-retired Curtis Donovan over here, and I'm talking to one of the best legends of the call business, MUGZ B. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me here.
No problem. So, I we got some questions today. So the
And
question, all right. So the
what's
questions,
question?
oh great. So the questions is, how long did call
Man, I'm gonna stay going to spell here and say since call was invented, there was before there was the YouTubes and all these Discords and stuff. Now I was doing it like in 2011. One of my best friends had started their own company, and I came into his company doing last man standing matches. He said, "Hey, you want to join the company? Come in, last minute, do a last man standing match." I was all for it. It was more of going in there and fighting like a brawl room brawl. You know what I'm saying?
for? Mm-hmm.
You go in there, you do the type of match, and then you feel the rush of the fans being invested. Like who's gonna get up at the count of 12? But then I noticed, and I said 12. Oh, you mean 10? And he was like, oh yeah, you're right, 10. My bad. So when the match went on, I actually ended up losing the last man standing match, but it was fun and I got invested. And he goes, "Do you want to sign?" And I was like, "Sure, I'm sold. What's the consensus? What I need to do? All you got to do is do what you've been doing. Do what you do." So in 2012, that's when everything started picking up for me. I traveled just amongst different companies back then. Then I stopped. I stopped when he passed away in 2015. 2015 was kind of a hard year because he was actually not only my best friend, he was actually my actual wrestling trainer, and he passed away. And so I stopped doing call in 2015. Like no big announcement, no nothing. Just walked away. COVID hit 2020. I was sitting in my office at work, just thinking, just what if, what if I go back, try to make a return. I went home, hit up a few companies. I went down there to England, and we all know what's over there in England. Everybody, Skegness, SVW. Came into this company as I came into the community doing a last man standing match. The only difference was I was able to answer that 10 count. It was a bloody match, but I was able to answer that 10 count. My return to call in 2020, I had some unfinished business that my goal was to be the best. I still had a lot to prove. I walked away prematurely at the height of my career, and I wanted to come back. I had a clear mind, clear head in 2020, but it was a bumpy road. It was a bumpy road. It was a bumpy road because I made it a bumpy road. When you make things difficult, you go into insecurity. Why insecurity? Because you know you deep down in your mind you're the best, and that's all you want is the best. You want the best, not just for yourself but for other people. So what do? You go out and challenge the best, but sometimes you don't always get what you want. You don't always get what you want. Um, so attitudes were born, egos were created. Thou's a bitter MUGZ in 2020, 2021. You very bitter, very angry, dropping pipe bombs, not easy to work with. That was because I already had the moniker. Shut up or fight. All I cared about was fighting the big money fights. That's all I cared about. It wasn't necessarily always about the title. It was just I want to fight. I want to be able to throw hands. When's the next one? Things don't plan out as it goes, and things happen to where you get fired. Got fired, went somewhere else, met somebody by the name of Karan Cook, Red Dawn. You know him, by the way.
Yeah, I do.
You know him, Red Dawn. Man, great teacher, great mentor. Key word that he always told me was, man, I still had a lot of growing up to do, but yet there was a lot of fire in me because I'm an all-around fighter. And Quran is the reason why I became a hybrid fighter. You wanna if you wanna fly, I'll fly with you. If you wanna throw hands, I'm gonna throw hands with you. If you wanna wrestle on the mat, I'm gonna wrestle with you on the mat. But Quran wanted me to be that balance of a fighter, that hybrid of a fighter, that hybrid of a wrestler. To be the best, you gotta have different aspects, different tools in your arsenal. That's what Quran gave me when he invited me down to his school. Now, fast forward, me and Kron's right smack in the middle of things, down there in Triforce, fighting for the Underground title and the Impact title. Well, that was then known as the Impact title. That got changed to the Underground title. Me and Karan were fighting for that title for at least a good 3 to 4 months, and it culminated in one of my favorite matches. What and it was very awesome. November 20 was a good year for me because I saw myself growing again, being happy. So hence the birth of everybody's favorite faction. You know,
Yeah, I
the
do.
Brass City Tyrants. The Brass City Tyrants. Yeah. Oh man. Hence the birth of Brass City Tyrants. Not Brass City. It was Brass City Tyrants. BCT. Uh, Once upon a time, Brass City was known as BCT, Brass City Tyrants, where people were being ruled by an iron fist. And I don't know if I'm able to talk about this, but all I'm really gonna say on this is the T was dropped. We became Brass City. Me and my brother Danny we wanted to go on a Brass City tour, and that's what we did. And it began down there in Canada with WWE, where me and my brother Daddy won the World Tag Team titles there, and one of my favorite matches, a triangular ladder match. Good, all great teams in that match. All great teams in that match. I have nothing but mad respect for all of them. But me and my brother Daddy said we wanted more. So we got the call at the Brass City hotline from ECWA. ECWA asked if we wanted to come down, sign with the company. We were like, yeah, we're in. We're on a tour. We'll stop by. Danny has a smart ass mouth. He was like, it's going to be the East Coast versus the West Coast, and I was like, yeah, let's just go and have fun, because he's the vibe on the party. And we get down there. First thing that happens is I'm in a battle royal for the hardcore 24/7 hardcore title, which is now known as the bare knuckle title, which is whoever holds that title, man, you hold that title with the most prestige, because when that's all said and done, and when you get able to look back at what you've done, I want each and every one of those people that held that title to say, hell yeah, I threw hands with the best and made it must see. Me and my brother Danny became an ECWA tag team champion. Then my brother Danny became the world heavyweight champion, and so on. And then he retired and went on to greater pastures. He's still in Hawaii somewhere, a couple kilos. And then I decided to go on a hiatus. So me and my brother Danny needed a successor, everybody. And when you need a successor, it's like the prince to the throne, the young Gohan, the young Goten to the throne. And there, ladies and gentlemen, insert Curtis. That man is pure genius. Um, if it wasn't for Curtis, I probably wouldn't have been kept going. If it wasn't for Curtis and Danny, I would probably even be here. I wouldn't even be considering being in call as long as I have been. If it wasn't for guys like Karan, guys like Angry New Yorker, ANY. Because when Danny left, there was a void. There was like a hole. It's like you go into the depression. And the Angry New Yorker was there and told me to get up. Quoted one of my favorite movies from it was a scene in Rocky. You guys out there, bear with me. Rocky's, very, anybody who knows me knows I love Rocky. Rocky is one of my favorite movies. Every New Yorker told me to get up, keep moving, and because of Angry New Yorker, I used the moniker and catchphrase: "Knuckle up and fight. Let's throw hands." If it wasn't for A and Y, I probably would have never just got up. I probably would have just stayed down and rested on my laurels. And not have been true, not have been true to myself, But I got up, started throwing hands, started knuckling up, started tapping my fist, showing up to work as I was dressed, and stayed ready to throw hands. So DJ, hit me with that beat. Hit me with another beat. Go ahead.
Okay, so the second question I have for you is what is your
Mhm.
most important and fun title reign in your career?
My most important title reign that I've had. My most important ones. I got three. I have three of them. Being a multiple time tag team champion with my brothers. Well, I actually made history with teaming with both my brothers and winning the tag team gold. Well, Danny and Curtis. Those are my most important ones that I hold dear to my heart. I'm always gonna put up there above me winning the Rumble, above me being the world heavyweight champion. It's just when you get to stand side by side with your family. Ain't nobody gonna have your back but family. And anybody who steps in the ring with their family, across from them or with them, ain't no one gonna take care of you but family. Hit me with that beat, DJ.
Another another fair question is who inspired you to push your career?
Who inspired me to push my career?
Someone to tell you, keep going, don't stop.
Angry New Yorker was the one that told me to keep going. After Danny left and I was just floundering, in the back, eating catering and stuff like that, not knowing where to go. AY was telling me that I had to keep going and continue to throw hands. And then there's Curtis, and there's a whole lot of fun stories coming up. DJ, hit me with them.
Now, what is your most fun tag team win in your career?
When you talk fun tag teams, uh, I've teamed with a lot of people, but like I said, they're not gonna top teaming with family. And Danny, when he would say he will attest to this too. Teaming with your brothers. That's that's always been fun. Hopefully, war games is a thing. Hopefully, Danny comes back from Hawaii and wants to team with his brothers one more time in a war games match. You know, the brothers do it. Team up one last time and war games. So I mean, hopefully that happens. That's actually one of my bucket list dream matches. If me and my brothers can team in a war games match, me, DJ Curtis, Danny, and the number four, man, we got to find that fourth. If we ever find that fourth, man, we ready to throw. But until then, always teaming with my brothers. I have fun
Probably Dion
because
because you know how the ties between those little two been going on.
I mean, yeah, that's true because Brad City was a part of the mob, by way of the mob. Um, if that happens, I'll be open to it. It's nothing but a fun time.
And those two were in GT together, so yeah.
That, yeah, that's true, and it'll be nothing but a fun time. So and as I said, stated, like I always have fun teaming with my brothers. Yeah. What up? What up, DJ? Hit me with another one. Hit me with another one.
How was your time being in the way of the mob? I know you mentioned in stuff way the mob back in the day, about a year ago to
Um.
be exact.
Well, Brad City. I was still flying. Still Brad City, but by way of the mob. Um. I would say that the little that I did with the mob, I had fun. Um, I, you know, running with the crew is always fun. But as much as a running with the crew is always fun, I loved being Brass City, and Brass City is not just a namesake. It's not just a brand. It's a way of life for me and Danny. And I wanted to get back to being, Brass City, and I wanted to have runs representing the Brass City, especially standing up, being on my own again, and then being on my own. Like if people see me, when I say welcome to the Brass City, I'm welcoming everybody, not just myself, not just who's in it. It's everybody. Brass City's for everybody. We party, we vibing. Um, and if you don't mind if I share a story, um, back when me and Danny were teaming, we had just won the tag team titles for oh man, I think my memory is slipping. Oh shit, that's not good. Um, Me and Danny, I don't know if you guys have ever seen me and Danny. We jokingly did something for we did it for the fans, and it was also a dare amongst family. Uh, we were dared to wear all white for our company. It was just go in there, but your tie has to be all white. And then I go, what if we do like black and white, but in the reverse, white and black? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's fine. It's fine. So me and Danny did that, right? Danny's the only person that I know that's gonna wrestle with a hat and aviators on, and then there's me. I'm coming out with my sunglasses, my backwards hat, because that's my trade. That's literally like my thing, the backwards hat, the sunglasses, and I'm coming out with a rag on my face, and
Basically your trademark.
yeah, basically my trademark. No, with all the respect, no pun intended to one of the all time one of the up and comers trademark. Um, we
Sadly, he
we
retired, but we don't talk about
were he Danny, me and Danny, we're there. We're smack in the middle of the ring. And on commentary, I would never forget this because it was me and Danny were watching and we were listening and we go, man, we're doing this. We're out here wearing the reverse white and black. And I go, dude, we look like the Backstreet Boys, bro. And lo and behold, it's on commentary. What are the Backstreet Boys doing in the ring? So as that got over, there was merch made. Brass City, instead of Backstreet's back, all right, it was Brass City is back, all right. The new Millennium album, and Danny is he's such a professional. He wasn't taking that he wasn't taking anything too serious because he's the vibe. He's the vibiest dude that you're gonna ever meet, everybody. And as soon as we won the match. We won the match off of his splash, and all you hear Danny go is Backstreet's back. All right, three, and I go and I couldn't help but laugh at it because it was funny.
that.
Hit me, DJ, blow it.
Now, as you're tied between with you and someone individuals, how is it? How is being a mentor to someone that you help and call one of the young brothers and call that been killing it in DWF right now? That's why I kind of took over the show this episode. How is it for you to teach that young individual?
Everybody, needs a Padawan. Everybody needs like I said in the beginning, like we all need a successor. And when you take family under your wing, especially when it's your little brother follows your footsteps, and they wants to follow the road that you're on. It's on you to lead by example, and it's also on you to guide your little brother to this path. And I'm aware that he's been tearing it up down there down there, and I cannot be nothing but proud, nothing but proud. Listening and listening to the tutelage, and also listening to the different mentors that he's also getting. I'm very proud of him. But nothing but high hopes and nothing better for the best for the young fam one. He's doing his thing. And I'm proud of him. Back streets back, all right. Mm, mm, mm.
So, as we all heard, um, things. So, this is another question I have. So, for you, is there any up and comers that you want to face? Any new young blood that been in the scene of COD that you really keep an eye on and let them shine and do their thing in companies? Do you ever seen any of those young bloods that you want to face in the future?
There's honestly there's a lot, and there's also a few people who have been in the game for a minute that I either want to be able to run it back with. There's people that I haven't been had the chance to throw hands with that I still want to. Um, Johnny Walker is somebody who I consider a friend, somebody who's been turning it up, but I'm hoping he's not retired because Johnny Walker, this is your official put on notice from the man from the city. So if you're listening or if you're watching, you next. It's like Mr. T told Rocky, you had your shot, now give me mine. Um, the young up and comers, huh? Where there's youth, there's experience. Hmm. I would say when it comes to the young up and comers, whenever they're ready to come to the city and throw hands, hey, come through, take fist, and be prepared to fight because it's gonna be nothing but a good time.
So no
Nothing.
one so basically no one from his graduation class, your little brother's class.
Huh.
There's a bunch of people that he was with. He was, Dion, or side by side. He was with a cash out.
I would want to face Dion again because if we fought for that U.S. title, never got a chance to run it back. So Dion, if you're listening, what would you say, man? One more time. And then and if you ain't looking to run the fade, we could do a side by side in war games. Um, Justin Massacre, legend. I want to run it back before I hang him up. The great Keon Kodo, man. I would love to run it back with Keon. And from my little brother's class, hmm, let me see. With the exception of Dion, everybody. Uh, I wouldn't say that's a tough one, but I wouldn't even say that's too hard to name. But from your grad, from not yours, from little brother's graduating class, I will be willing to throw hands with all of them. Not in no battle royal, not in no tournament, just storyline wise. If they say when you knock on the door, opportunity. You don't know, you never know who's gonna open the door with a smile and greet you.
Yeah,
So if little brother's class is listening, I'll be willing to throw hands with each and every one of you.
because
Cause
I
it ain't
know
nothing.
you ran it. You ran it once with a Campbell.
Yep.
I know you ran it once with a Dion, but you never ran
Yep.
it with anyone side by side. I know there was some dream matches that been mentioned with you in a cash out.
Yeah. If like, as I said, if there was if I was if there's matches that I want to cash in on, I would. Um and I will. And if like I said, when the time is right, a nice little war game situation would be suffice. A regular Survivor Series match or elimination, whatever, like would be suffice. But I've heard through the grapevine a new match type coming in called Guerrilla Warfare. uh, you never know where I'm gonna pop up, especially if I'm on that card or in that match. And as I said, you never know who I'll be calling to run it side by side. Go ahead, Captain, hit me.
So when it comes to basically, and let's just say this, when it comes to basically you traveling the world, how did you enjoy those DBMO tag titles for a little bit?
When that was like for both titles we've held. Me and Danny held. It was fun. Like it was like one of our best times. Like we running it. We throwing hands with the competition. Just going out there having fun, performing for the crowd, and the crowd has to remembers like who the vibing party was. With I come in with it. We came in with that swag. But working down there, being D&W Tag Team Champions was one of our awesome times. I think it was one of our favorite times being DBMO Tag Team Champions because I think being DBMO Tag Team Champions, that was the second or third company me and Danny went to during our Brass City tour, and we were collecting all the tag team titles we could and while we could. And like I said, it was fun and it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, and how was your moment at ECWA's Daytona Rumble?
ECWA's for a moment, man. It was like honestly, I felt like my idol, Shawn Michaels, when he won the 1996 Royal Rumble. I it was a culmination of a journey. Yes, I've had multiple titles, tag team, singles, but when you win a Rumble and you're guaranteed a main event spot at your company's biggest event of the year, not only you solidified your spot in history. You're going to headline the biggest event for your company. I I literally felt like how my idol did at the 1996 Royal Rumble, getting ready, to getting ready to head to WrestleMania 12. And at Battlegrounds 2, um, I walked into Beijing China Arena. I sat in the crowd before the show just to take it all in, take everything all in. And I told myself, this is what we work for. We wait to get to this moment. Now it's time to go out and steal the show. I went out there with one of the best to ever do it. The Motor Mouth, Keon Koto. That man is everything he says he is. When he says he's gonna drop you on your neck, he's gonna drop you on your neck, but he's gonna do it tenfold. If he says he's gonna punch you square in your mouth, he's gonna punch you square in your mouth, and he's doing that tenfold because you feel it with every hit, every punch, every kick, and every move. There's more oomph to everything that he did that night. And to do it, not only to face him in a match, but it was in the match that I made famous, the Brass City Street Fight. When you have your moment right then and there, and it's an awesome feeling. And when I won, when the referee said 3, when I held that title, like I was Sean, like my idol did back at WrestleMania 12, and my mind played Vince McMahon's voice. The boyhood dream for MUGZ B has come true.
Yeah, man. And did you I have another question? Did you feel proud for your brother taking the storm on Q?
Yeah, I'm very proud of what my brothers are doing. Especially our little brother. As I said, he's tearing it up down there in DWF, having a time of his life as he should. Um, as I've said before, I wish him nothing but the best. But he already knows if he ever needs his big brothers, he knows where to find us. But I want to also shed some light on something, everybody. When I said when I won the tag team titles with both my brothers, and that's always fun to do. What people don't realize is I may be a multiple time tag team champion with Danny, holding different titles with Danny. I've also held. I'm also a 2-time tag team champion with Curtis, the little brother. Which everybody knows. Curtis is my little brother. one of my favorite moments was when we won the tag team titles and GP and at the just in the Justice Playground. That was actually one of my favorite matches. Uh, because I actually went into that match a little more relaxed than normal than I normally would. Where I had the more swagger. I just went in there and you heard the song. If you ever heard the songs, I'm gonna pop some tags. Well, only $20 in my pocket. Me and my brother went in there, did our thing, got that W, hosted those tag team titles in the air. Another special moment that I'm not gonna forget.
And you and all your wins and all this stuff. How do you also enjoy your rivalry with the Miller, Cameron Miller from Skeg?
Um, I actually enjoyed it. Came up short, came up short at every end, but I enjoyed it because when you write a story, you got to have a hero and your protagonist, and I was a very good protagonist, that anti-hero. I did what I wanted, and I said what I wanted, and hey, I was able to not just get under his skin because my intentions was to face him, get him in the ring and face him. The matches that we had, the fatal four ways, the tag team matches for the tag team titles, the non tag team title matches that I had with them, those were my favorites. Uh, and it all culminated in the match that I made famous called the Brass City Street Fight. Um, I would say that match was good, but I had already known that I wanted to leave the company, and my goal was to get through the match and have fun because it was the end of the chapter. Because the only one way to settle a rivalry is a street fight, and that was the goal, that was the intentions, that was the intent. And lo and behold, Cameron Miller got the win, and he's also a current singles champion right now. Congratulations on that. Continue doing what you're doing.
Let's talk about the whole history with the whole Brass City Street Fight. What was the concept behind the street fight?
The concept behind the Brass City Street Fight is because we all have what we call no holds barred matches and stuff, and I was actually chilling in the Brass City. I didn't have anything to do, but I had received a phone call from somebody down there in Skeggs. I received a call asking if I wanted to work with them, and I'm like, yeah, sure. What was the concept? What's the gate? What I mean by what's the gate, or what's the match? Like, what are we doing? Like, we had a Brass City street fight, and what generally happened was that the birth behind the Brass City street fight, I didn't want a match called the Extreme Rules, a hardcore match. Like you gotta there's a there has to be a build up. There has to be a reason for it. And when there was, when this person gave me one, and then I was like, all right. So the Brass City street fight commenced when I wrestled someone by the name of Chris Garcia. At the time, Mr. Garcia, the Mr. Chris Garcia was under a mask, and man, that man, he can wrestle. I'm telling you guys right now, look out for him. If you don't know who he is, go back to see his early days as a luchador. He's still a lucha. He's a great luchador. His great stuff is when he was under a mask, when he used to rock the face paint, and what he's doing currently is awesome too. But when you wrestle under a mask, it's a whole different story. And going back to going back to what I was saying about the Brad City Street Fight, is I wrestled Chris Garcia in the street fight, and it only came about because me and Chris are from the same state, the actual same state. So I named the fight. I instead of calling it a street fight or West Coast versus the West Coast, that's basically how the match was delivered. Well, it's West Coast versus the West Coast. I named the match the Brass City Street Fight because where Brass City is located, it's located. It's full of champions. It's filled with champions. It's a champion state, and when you have a champion state and a champion mindset, why not call it brass? Because a champion is technically brass, you know. And so Chris Garcia is literally from my home state, and when we threw hands for that first time, you get the crowd invested, and that's what happened. The crowd got invested in a match that, hey, you got two people from the same state, different cities, throwing hands, but have the same attitude of the same goal. That's what made that match so special. And when you fast forward from Chris Garcia having another Brad City Street fight with now champ main with now no limits, I think King of Egg KOF champion Cameron Miller. Same thing. A rivalry that started in a fatal four way and it culminated in a Brad City Street fight. To me, a Brad City Street fight is, to me, that's how you end a rivalry. That's how you end your rivalries. But they're only to be used if necessary. And in my book, you're only using it if necessary. If you need that game seven, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, out of all the out of all like the stuff of the Brassy Street Fight, I know you. I know you taught a lot of people um, a lot of things, and I know you also spectated a match. So that concept was used for family purposes, right?
Yes, family purposes, and just like I said, like a game seven purpose. It's a family situation. If you can't settle the score, you're gonna have to settle it somehow. And you settled it in the streets. You settled it out in the streets. You settled it old school.
Yeah. So you taught. So basically, how do you feel about you made the biggest match in the history that other people used. Even Cameron Miller fought your little brother in that match.
Very true. I spectated it. I was there. I watched. I actually got to witness the match firsthand as a fan for the first time. Watching my little brother work Kevin Miller in that match. It's different for being on the other side of it, like watching and spectating in awe uh, of what you see from a fan standpoint versus being actually in it. It's a whole different atmosphere. Like I literally had to cheer. I literally was on the edge of my seat during high spots. I was just amazed at what my little brother did against Cameron, and then vice versa.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, basically you just proud.
Yeah, I stood up, and I cheered for my brother because that's how you know when you're doing right for family. Like you have to allow them to grow, and they grew in Game Seven. My little brother grew in Game Seven, and that's why. And he wanted that fight, and he took that fight in the Brass City. He took it to the streets. He wanted it to handle it old school. And when you want to be your own person, that's basically what we do. And I was proud of him for doing that.
Now as you know, now as of the spectating of the whole which one to call it, I heard the rumors that you're retiring pretty
Yeah. Um. There does come a time when you want to try to. There's been a lot of leaving, a lot of I'm done's, but I think around this time, hey, it is time. Time comes for us all. Um, they say Father Time comes for us all. Um, my goal is to throw hands as long as I can, but retirement is on the horizon. That's the thing because a journey, all journeys do end. Um, and for people who don't know, for this podcast is labeled entitled "My Journey." If people didn't know that, my journey through the business, navigating my way through it. And yes, you're right. Uh, Retirement is on the horizon.
it's on the horizon, but you don't know when you're gonna give up.
If you guys know the phrase, keep a weathery eye on the horizon. And if you guys know that phrase, when you keep an eye out on that sunset, that's when you guys are gonna know that I will be hanging them up. And if you guys wanted to know a time frame or a timeline, it's going to be at ECWA's Christmas special, seasons beating special, December to Dismember. The holiday season is upon us, and I want to introduce something to everybody, if it's okay. I've been wrestling with an injury. I didn't know how bad it was. So come December, I'm gonna be pulling away from the ring, a retirement. Not that I don't have nothing left, but time does come for everybody. And I just want y'all to just keep that weather on the horizon.
Yeah. But yeah, as that being said, we're about to wrap up soon. So, is there one more thing that you want to say to the world of giving advice or anything like that?
When you fall down 7 times, get back up 8 more times. When you reach the top, don't just settle because you reached the top. Tell yourself you didn't come this far to only come this far. You keep moving, you keep striving. Just because you become a champion, don't settle because you're a champion. You keep excelling, keep finding new challenges, and continue to throw hands. See you at work.
Great having you in this interview.
Thank you, DJ. Appreciate it.